to go through the following safety instructions. Thank you and enjoy your flight.
Before we start this, does anyone else like honestly, I feel like some people just don't understand the extent of social anxiety, okay? So I'm starting university in, what month is it? July. Like 2-3 months, right? And with everything that's going on with Corona, I decided it'd be better to stay at home. And for some reason, the accommodation in Liverpool is just so expensive for no reason. So first year me is staying at home. The ghetto. So obviously I have to go out of my way to like make friends and things and like talk to people, right? Which is not my forte, okay? I just struggle a lot with the social anxiety. Like, I am sweating right now, bro. Like, you don't understand. I'm actually overheating, and all I did was talk in a group chat for the university that I'm going to. Like, don't really know what's going on there, to be honest. Like, I don't understand the logic behind that. Like, it's really not that deep. But this is my life, you know? I could be staying in accommodation in Leeds, which was the original university of my choice, but no, Corona, she said no ma'am. Today we're going to be talking about, we're talking about a sort of inner glow up. We're talking about how you get out of a rut. I feel like it's important to note that this is just what I do to get out of my ruts, which happen like every single month, and by that I mean like 3 times a month. Like a lot of people, I have dealt with depression, anxiety, all that shit. And especially with depression, it's so easy to allow yourself to get into a rut. And it's more than just a rut, like it's really like, it's probably more like a depressive episode, but it really is like, you know, it's like a rut, but a bit deeper, right? And with me, I think a lot of the time, I kind of just spiral, and these spirals start with, you know, losing sight of what is important or what like you do in your day. So like, for example, now, especially because we're in lockdown, you have nothing to do but address you and your thoughts, right? So it's very easy to get into a rut because you're like, what is even going on? Like, there's no point in me even trying to be productive, because it's like, bro, it's like we're in a pandemic, we're just like at home doing whatever anyway. So yeah, I just want to talk about how I get out of my rut and come out on the other side as a better person. The reason I am wrapped up in this blanket right now is, you know what, maybe it's just for a sense of comfort, okay? Because I just put myself out there. And for a socially anxious person, that's deep. Anyway, I have filmed, like, I can't even tell you how many videos across these past few weeks, and not one was uploaded, not one, because I can't even explain how, like, every single video that I try to film fails somehow. There's just something wrong with it or whatever. It's really, really annoying. I don't know what the reasoning is, you know? And these same things keep happening. So I'm like, you know what? We're just gonna cut it back, real chill, and we're just gonna talk about the stuff that I know, okay? This is the stuff that I am dealing with at the moment and feel like could probably help someone else. Yeah, so this is actually what I wrote down for myself, because I'm tired of me being in these ruts like every single time, and I need to be more consistent with myself so that like I can have a more consistent growth in that sense. So yeah, we're gonna talk about how I get out of a rut. So the first thing that is important to think about when you do get into a rut is to actually sit down and address your emotions, okay? I feel like when we get into a rut, we're like, oh my goodness, why is this happening again? Like, I'm sick and tired of this. Can I not just have a, you know, a stint of time where I'm just being zen, being chill, whatever, everything's fine? And then you can kind of brush your emotions under the rug or judge them and be like, why are you always feeling like this? Blah, blah, blah. So let's say you're in a rut and you're feeling kind of inadequate, unworthy, whatever it might be. I think it's important to address those emotions and think, where is this coming from? Like, why are these feelings coming up? If it's making you feel upset, angry or whatever, why? Because if you don't know the reason, you're just treating the symptom of it, right? And then it's just gonna happen again and again anyway. It's normal to get into ruts, don't get it twisted. But of course, in order to get yourself out of them, you need to understand why they happen in the first place. So great ways to do this, I would say, is to meditate. Honestly, I think sitting down in silence and just allowing your thoughts to just appear, like acknowledge them and let them go, is really good. Also, journaling. I really find that I can understand my thoughts better when I write things down. I don't know if it's the same for everyone, but if that's how you kind of can understand your life better, I think that's a good option. Because when you write things down and you can like really just kind of let all the emotions, all the feelings flow out, it can help you to see more clearly what it is exactly that you're struggling with at the time. I think sometimes you don't always need to problem solve because it's not always a direct problem, but sometimes it can be. So if it's a direct issue, what can you do about it to make yourself feel better so that you can get out the rut? Or if it's just an emotion, like think about it. A lot of the time our emotions kind of reflect the, background thought patterns that are going on, right? So where is this coming from? So for me, when I get into a rut, oftentimes I haven't realized, but I've started to drop the things that I enjoy. Not on purpose, I just have, right? So usually I'll be practicing guitar, I'll be reading, I'll be listening to podcasts, I'll be, like drawing, whatever. And then over time, I'll just drop them all. I don't know why I do this. It's like subconscious. I'll just drop them. And then I'm like, wait, why do I feel so bad? And it's because I'm not doing the things that I enjoy. Sometimes it can be as simple as that. Like, what is it that I'm not doing that is making me feel this way? Something that I think that can be really important and kind of a challenge when these things come about is to go inward and figure out, like, what is it that actually brings you joy? Like, what makes you happy? Because it's like, if you don't even know what it is that makes you happy, how can you try to like cheer yourself up again? Because it's just like you're just kind of, feeding yourself with rubbish that isn't actually helping you and just keeps you in your rut, right? But if you know these are the things that cheer me up, these are the things that make me happy, these are the things that make me feel fulfilled, then when you get into a rut, you're like, okay, this is what's missing from my life right now, and this is what I can incorporate to make myself feel better. This is like, I'm very much speaking to myself with this, because a lot of the times this is why I be getting into ruts, because for some reason I just don't incorporate the things that I enjoy. And if you don't like feel that joy every day, of course you're going to be in a rut. Then you'll need to think, what can you do to make yourself feel better? Like now, like right at this moment in time when you're feeling that you're in a rut, and long term. So like now that could look like making sure you're eating 3 meals a day, because think about it, this is also long term, but like if you're not feeding yourself, your brain doesn't even have the shit that it needs to work properly, so why are you gonna expect yourself to be feeling great, Immediately as you're feeling it, meditate, journal exactly what it is that you're thinking. Things are kind of relaxing outside now, so like maybe even just to the park, go and take a trip in nature. I think that even just feeling that stillness around you kind of forces you to come to terms with what's going on in your brain, but also just forces you to be still as well. And then when it comes to the long term, you want to think about like the key things that you need to do every single day, or habits that you would like to keep. So for example, in terms of just straight up keeping yourself healthy, because I think especially with the people that deal with depression or whatever, these kind of things can just kind of fall off without you even realizing it. But things like making sure that you get as much sleep as is necessary for you. Like often it's 8 hours of sleep, but not everyone actually needs 8 hours of sleep. It depends on the individual person. But be real with yourself and think about how much time you need to sleep and make it consistent, because your brain actually benefits from that consistency and you'll probably feel better. Yeah, I'm talking directly to myself because I am consistently bad at going to sleep on time, if that makes sense. It's just not healthy, to be honest. Like my under eye bags, they are struggling, but they've been struggling from the get-go. But that's something that I really need to work on. Also, I think it's important to have an attitude of gratitude, because if you think about it, right, like life is a series of ups and downs a lot of the time, But the things that can remain constant is that you can always have something to be grateful for. And if you focus on the things that you're grateful for, you're going to feel a lot better than obviously if you focus on the worst things that are going on in your life, or just the worst things that you feel. With all of these things that you can do, I think it's important to create systems so that you can achieve your goals. So say if it's like, oh, I want to exercise every single day, or I want to journal every single day. I think it's important to make sure that you figure out like exactly when it is that you're going to journal. Create systems that make you, want to journal, and make that habit, consistent. A good book for this is Atomic Habits by James Clear. I'm really bad at explaining things, but I'm reading this book currently, and it's like you can set yourself goals, but if the systems around you and the systems and the things that you do don't change, you're not likely to get to those goals. So say if I was like, okay, I want an A star, but then I don't study, I'm not gonna get that A star. Whereas if I set up the systems to get to that A star, it becomes more about your journey than the actual end goal, and you can achieve it easier, better, I don't know. And also, lastly, do all these things on a daily basis, not just whenever you feel like you're in a rut. Because if you think about it, then it's like, okay, if you drop it, then you get in a rut. Then you pick up these things again, then you drop them, then you get in a rut. So it's like, why not be more consistent with these things so you feel better for a larger portion of time, So that's all that I have for today. If you enjoyed this video, please give this a thumbs up. I'm sorry that I didn't post, I don't remember if it's been 1 week or 2 weeks now, but like, I just haven't been proud of the content that I was making. So I just didn't upload. And I think I'm trying to figure out what it is that I'm trying to upload, but also not put too much pressure on myself, because it's like, bro, there's literally like 25 people on my channel right now. Thank you all for subscribing, by the way. But it's like, that's 25 people. Like, it's not even like I have this whole, big community that is putting pressure on me. It's just me. So yeah, I really hope this was helpful, and yeah, let me know if you have any tips as well on how to get out of a rut, because I need it. I really need it. I'm making this video really for myself because I feel like I've been in a rut since June, to be honest, and I'd like to not be in this rut when it comes to my birthday, because you know what, birthdays are too emotional for me, and I just feel like they just don't need to be. Like, I'm only 19, okay, but like, I don't even know what I'm saying anymore, but yeah. Bye. Ooh.